Every Sunday, we have sort of blocked off a portion of the service before we get into our study where we're currently at in the book of Acts. We've been doing a Mid-East prophecy update because of what's been going on geopolitically in the world today. And one of the reasons for this is because, as it's been said, Israel is God's prophetic clock. In other words, if you want to know what time it is on God's clock as it relates specifically to Bible prophecy, just look at the nation Israel and see what's taking place. Well, obviously there's so many things happening, all centered around specifically Jerusalem, that we felt that it was incumbent on us to keep watching and to keep looking, and so that this does not catch us off guard or come as a thief in the night, as Jesus said it would. I sort of want to round a corner, though, today and not necessarily just specifically talk about what's going on in Israel, though there was an interesting development that has really serious implications for the United States and Israel. When Hamas took over the West Bank in Gaza and took over from Fatah, they got a hold of intelligence that is very sensitive, and it's like giving the enemy your address, your phone number, your social security number, your bank account information. And so it is believed that Iran and Syria and Russia now have information from Hamas since they took over the West Bank. It is very serious what is taking place there right now. I really encourage you to go to Joel Rosenberg's website at joelrosenberg.com. Actually, his blog site. I don't have the address at the top of my head right now, but there is some very interesting developments, and I think you can look for now a more rapid coming together for the fulfillment of Ezekiel chapter 38, which again is that Russian and Iranian alliance of other nations that come together and attack Israel. As one said, this Hamas getting a hold of this sensitive information is really just like giving the enemy all of your detailed strategies, and so you can look now for Iran to really beef up their attack vis-a-vis Syria, Hamas, Hezbollah, and through Lebanon. And it's going to get worse. And so it's exactly as God said in His Word it would be. It is coming to pass exactly as it was prophesied that it would. But so what I'd like to do today is sort of round the corner from the Mideast and talk about a prophecy of, I think, it's very interesting to me, and it may have escaped the notice of many. It actually happened a couple, 3 years ago, but I like what Sir Isaac Newton said. He said, quote, "About the time of the end, a body of men will be raised up who will turn their attention to the prophecies in the midst of much clamor and opposition." And I believe we as a church here at Calvary Chapel, Kaneohe, are amongst those who have turned our attention to the prophecies in the Scriptures as it relates to the last days. And so I want to turn your attention to this prophecy found in Revelation, the 13th chapter, verse 16. You can turn there if you wish. It's probably a verse you're very well familiar with, and there's been much to do about it. But it is about the mark of the beast, and specifically how the Antichrist will cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehands. Now, this is what's interesting, is in October of 2004, the FDA surprisingly, sort of hastily, approved the implanting of a computer chip for humans. Prior to this, it was not approved for humans. It was and still is being used in pets to track animals. Well, interesting. It said, MSNBC ran this Associated Press article, quote, "A tiny computer chip approved for implantation in a patient's arm can speed vital information about a patient's medical history to doctors and hospitals. With the pinch of a syringe, the microchip is inserted under the skin in a procedure that takes less than 20 minutes and leaves no stitches. Silently and invisibly, the dormant chip stores a code that releases patient-specific information when a scanner passes over it. Think UPC code. The identifier emblazoned on a food item brings up its name and price on the cashier's screen." Now, this is what's really interesting about this. First of all, you can actually have this done now if you want. VeriChip, which is a company out of Florida, will charge, I think you can have it implanted for about $200. That's all. And it only takes about 20 minutes. Here's a picture of it and the size of it in relationship to your index finger. Now, the reason why I wanted to draw your attention to this is because I believe that we are on the verge of having everything in place for this prophecy to be fulfilled. Now, here's the question. Why the right hand or the forehead? Keep in mind that this is where the heat is the most pronounced in your body. Remember when you were a kid and your mom would check to see if you were running a fever by touching your forehead or your forehand? Well, the heat from the body actually powers it. It's sort of like a solar-powered, a heat-powered device. Interesting, one thinks and said that it's very possible that it's in the right hand because this is where we have our hand on the computer mouse. And so it says that no man will be able to buy or sell without this, and it's very possible that with e-commerce the way it is and is fast becoming, that you'll be able to do all of your transactions, and then the sensor in the mouse will actually read the chip in your hand with all the information, and you'll be able to buy and sell online. For those of you with accounts on eBay, no problem. It's just right there, just a click. You won't even need to click. It'll just read the information, and there it is, and you'll be able to buy it.